Hello everyone, I'm Joe Marchese.
I'm Thomas Ogdenby.
And we are the Fantasy Football Boyz. Okay, so basically in this episode we're going to be recapping on the Thursday night game and the Sunday games. We're going to be going over some top waiver wire pickups. It's been a huge week. There's going to be some people to pick up, and also there's some key injuries and key news that we need to get up to date and keep you guys informed. Alright, so we're just going to go right off the bat here with some big news. As you guys may have heard, basically the top pick, it was a top pick in all of mine, was David Johnson, and he dislocated his wrist actually. Sorry, it was a video up on my computer screen. He dislocated his wrist versus the Lions, so he's getting an MRI done, and he could be out a couple games. I've heard IR is a possibility, which would mean that he is out for a while, possibly 12 weeks. That is not good for a lot of people that bought into him. Now, the guy that you may want to be looking at right now would be Cardinals running back Kerwin Williams. Kerwin Williams will take over most likely for David Johnson, so he may be one of the hot waiver wire pickups we're going to go with right there. In other injury news, Andrew Luck will be sitting out week 2, which is a very surprise. He had surgery back in January. They said he'd be ready to go for the season, but he still isn't ready. He didn't play last week. He's not going to be playing this upcoming week, so that means Scott Tolzien. Anything you got to say about that, Tom?
I don't have anything to say about that, but on the David Johnson, they did say probably in the next 24 hours, 48 hours, they'd give us an update on what's going to happen for sure. And because I know I have him in one of my fantasy leagues, and I started him this week, and he was okay. He picked up almost 15 points, but it would be kind of sad if he left. But in other news, I got something came up. Deshaun Watson's going to be taking over for Tom Savage for the Houston Texans, so that's something to be noticing about.
That is great news. I mean, I already knew. I sort of guessed before it. Deshaun Watson performed well in preseason. Obviously, it was a blowout with the Jaguars. We'll be going over that in just a second, the scores and everything. But I really think Deshaun Watson is a winner. And like I said about DeAndre Hopkins, guess what? He scored a touchdown. Only touchdown of the night came from Deshaun Watson. That's what I want to see. Them two combined this season, I think, can put up a lot of fantasy points.
Also, Allen Robinson is also out. He had a torn ACL, and he'll be in surgery for a couple weeks. So
that means that Allen Hurns, guys like Allen Hurns and Marquise Lee are definitely going to be able to step up, and they might be. Allen Hurns definitely is going to be a big waiver wire pickup.
All right, let's see. Just some other key noticeable injuries. We got Ronald Darby. He's got 4 to 6 weeks. They said he won't need surgery, but I think it was something to do with his ankle.
He dislocated his ankle. He'll be fine. That's not really much about fantasy right there. Another key injury will be Kevin White. This guy has been injured his whole career. I mean, come on. It really sucks for him. I really thought that he might have had a good season this year in Chicago, but obviously not. I believe that he's out for the season.
Some injuries from Thursday night. We got Eric Berry. He's going to be out for the season. He's on IR.
Sad.
Yeah, we got Danny Amendola. He's in the concussion protocol, so we will know how long his timetable is. So that's kind of uncertain at this time. But I think that's it for injuries.
All right, so now we're going to go into some game recaps. The first game, we're just going to go down the line. We're just going to list off the scores, and then we can go into some depth with the game. So first game, we had Kansas City beating the New England Patriots at home. Thursday night opener, 42-27. Great game. We'll definitely be talking about that a lot more. Next game up, Buffalo beat New York Jets. I thought that they were going to beat them. I mean, obviously, New York Jets are going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL. Atlanta with a close game with Chicago. This one actually came down to the last seconds of the game. If you were watching it, I mean, I saw some recaps of it. It was a great game. Honestly, it was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. Big surprise here for Baltimore and their defense. Might be a good pickup if you don't have them. They shut out the Cincinnati Bengals 20-0. That was a great game for Baltimore. Pittsburgh and Cleveland, also another close game. Cleveland is surprisingly back. I really like Deshaun Kaiser, 21-18. Detroit and Arizona, it was a close game, but again, Matthew Stafford leading another fourth quarter comeback. 35-23 Detroit.
Rookie Kenny Galladay got 2 touchdowns in the game, so it kind of sparked there.
Yeah, we'll definitely be talking about Kenny Galladay. 6'4", huge red zone target. Must add this week. Jacksonville, like I said, 29-7 against Houston. They dominated that whole game. If you had their defense, they put up some numbers for you. Oakland, Tennessee. Derek Carr, Marcus Mariota, 2 top quarterbacks, but Derek Carr won this one, 26 to 16.
That was a tough matchup right there.
Philadelphia, Washington. Kirk Cousins really underperformed that game. Philadelphia took the game over. Carson Wentz, 30 to 17. Big game right here. You can definitely see the impact, this next one, of Andrew Luck not being there. LA Rams, 46 to 9. 46 to 9. Their defense, I think in the league I did, dropped 29 points. That is just amazing.
Yeah.
That's a huge impact for everyone on the Colts. T.Y. Hilton, Frank Gore, they're all seeing the impact of Andrew Luck.
Yeah, there's a lot of defenses that performed good this week, fantasy-wise. So.
Next game, Green Bay, Seattle. It was really close until Aaron Rodgers and Jordy Nelson, classic old duo right there, sealed it for the win. Carolina, San Francisco. What do you think here? 23 to 3. Carolina. Nothing really bad. Nothing really impressive there. Dallas, and you could definitely see the impact of Odell not playing Sunday night because Dallas beat the New York Giants 19 to 3. They just dominated from the start to the end. Dallas's defense did a really good job. So the first game I would really like to talk about is one of my guys. I talked about him last time, Kareem Hunt, going off Thursday night against the New England Patriots. Over 240-something yards. I think that is a record for a rookie. 3 touchdowns, 2 receiving, 1 rushing, a 75-yard, or a long one. I think that might have been Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Huge game for him. In our league, we get a bonus for 3 points for a yard over 50. So he dropped around 42 points in our league.
Yeah.
And that is just amazing.
That's for non-PPR, and in PPR it's basically about 45. So he dropped.
And then again, another guy who I really did not see this coming at all would be Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
He is a burner. They're going to give him the ball. Really, though, I don't really know how much this is going to keep up. Alex Smith, I think this is only the 5th time he's went over 300 yards passing in a game. So, really, Tyreek Hill is really not going to be a safe pick for me. He's not. He had a lot of points, but I don't really know. I'm checking right now. He had 7 receptions for 133 yards and a touchdown. You take away that 175-yard touchdown, and he really didn't have that nice of a game. It's sad to say, but Alex Smith just had a great game. We'll see if he can keep it up next week. He might be a low-end starter, but my guy, Kareem Hunt, must start. I think, like Matt Berry said, I talked about that last week, he could potentially be a top 5 running back this season.
Yeah, now he's got the starting role over Spencer Ware. It's huge.
Another guy in that game that did really good was Mike Gillislee, former Buffalo Bills running back. He didn't get a lot of yards, only 45 yards, but guess what? They got to the goal line every time and they handed him the ball.
Yeah.
3 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns. He could be the new LeGarrette Blount, and that means points on your board, and that means a must start for this week too. On to the next big studs. I mean, all the top guys underperformed. We'll just take a look here. David Johnson, 7 yards. He had a fumble. 7 points. He had a fumble. Out with a wrist injury. DeMarco Murray, 5 points. Julio Jones, 6 points. Le'Veon Bell, 4 points. Like, that's crazy to me because
AJ Green, 8 points.
all of these guys were easily top 10, top 8, top 5 draft picks.
Travis Kelce, 4 points you got there.
All of these guys. And everyone's like, I'm going to go and start him. And you know what? I did in a couple of my leagues. And it really killed me this week. It really did. But obviously, you have to slot him in your lineup every week because they're going to still perform the whole season. Now, it was a really down week for some guys.
Gronkowski, 3 points.
Obviously, LaShawn McCoy. Great for him. Great for him. He had a great game. 110 rushing yards. He had 15 total points, so he had like 30 receiving yards right there. So he's still a really consistent player. Buffalo's going to lean on him. And then another guy I had on my team, which I'm grateful about, is Ezekiel Elliott. And we have to talk about him right now. We have to take a break and talk about him because if you haven't heard the news already, he appealed and he won it. And he, right now, is slotted in to play all 16 games in this NFL season. His suspension has been put on hold. So that means instantaneous starter. He dropped 13 points 104 rushing yards against the game. You add a touchdown to that. And he has an outstanding game. He is going to be, for guys, I got him in the 4th round. For guys that got him maybe in the 2nd or 3rd, he's a top 3 player in fantasy football this year. Great pick. Just really great pick. He is going to be really great. Really great this year. Any other players that you think we need to talk about?
Let's see here.
If not, I mean, it was just a really weird week.
You got Jimmy Graham. He didn't even get any points this game. Russell Wilson. Yeah.
Antonio Brown, 11 targets, 11 receptions, 182 yards. You'd think if you're the Browns, you're going to start down Antonio Brown. You didn't. That was just a great game for him.
Just for a defense. You got Arizona's defense. It's usually top. Put up only 7 points this game.
Yeah. So. It was a bad week for the top people.
Yeah, it was.
Whereas you got people like Austin Hooper coming in and dropping like 20, close to 20 points.
Jeremy Maclin got a touchdown.
It's crazy. Now what I think we're going to go into now is some waiver wire pickups, because this is really important. I have won championships from waiver wire pickups. That is what I pride myself in watching. Now, the best waiver wire pickup right now is Tariq Cohen, Chicago. He's a 5'6" back, tiny back, but he is only owned in 3% of leagues. 3%. So chances are you can pick him up in your league right now. I would, because this guy's a 3rd down back, and he's going to steal carries from Jordan Howard. Jordan Howard is not a receiving back. Jordan Howard, I don't even know if he's all 3 down back. This guy is going to be the receiving back, and he can run the ball too. I've only heard praise when I've heard about Tariq Cohen from the coaching staff. He's a rookie. He is definitely going to be a hot commodity coming out of this. Some other guys are Javaris Allen and Kerwin Williams. Javaris Allen's from Baltimore. He's going to be a hot pickup. He did really good this past Sunday. Check him out. And then Kerwin Williams, I talked about him earlier. David Johnson could be out up to 12 weeks. 12 weeks, the top fantasy running back. Where are all those carries and touchdowns and touches going to go? To Kerwin Williams. That's where they're going to go. Only owned in 1% of leagues right here. So go pick him up, slot him in. Maybe not week 2. Might want to see what he does, but definitely pick him up, because he could lead your team to the playoffs. And then you get David Johnson back, especially for handcuff. You're really golden.
Yeah.
A guy you wanted to talk about, Tom, was Kenny Galladay. What do you think about him?
Yeah, I had him at one point on my team, but I was like, you don't know, because he said he was slotted to be like the third top wide receiver, but he had 2 touchdowns, and Stafford was pretty confident in how he played, so I think he's going to get some touchdowns the next couple weeks. So
yeah, he had 4 receptions for 69 yards, but he had 2 touchdowns. 2 touchdowns. Matthew Stafford is going to lean on this man. I saw the catch he made for his 2nd touchdown in the 4th quarter. Perfect over-the-shoulder diving catch. He's 6'4", huge red zone target. He's definitely going to take over what Anquan Bolden did. I think he can score more than maybe 10-plus touchdowns.
They still got other receivers. They got Tate Jones, so they still have chances to get maybe a touchdown every other game or so. So it's going to be interesting.
I definitely think that it is going to be really good to pick these guys up. Probably next 2 guys would be Cooper Kupp from the Los Angeles Rams. He's owned in some leagues, but he gets a ton of catches, and he scored a touchdown. They like to throw to this guy. In a PPR league, he is a must-start, because they are going to throw to him, and he is going to get catches. Guys, I've heard prediction he's going to get over 100 catches this season. I don't know about that, but you throw catches along with a touchdown, that's a perfect fantasy combination. And the next guy, one of the last guys we're going to talk about is Marquise Lee. He's going to take over because Allen Robinson tore his ACL, so people are going to need to step up. I talked about Allen Hurns, but he's drafted in a lot of leagues. Marquise Lee owned in 11% of leagues. That's really nothing, and they like to throw to him even when Allen Robinson was there, so he's definitely a pickup and could possibly be, maybe not this week 2, but I definitely think in this upcoming week 3 or 4, he could be a big starter there for you. A big starter for you this year. So some other guys, not really too many big names. Might want to pick up Deshaun Watson if you need a secondary quarterback. He's going to be Houston's quarterback, and I think he can get rushing touchdowns and passing touchdowns. He really does it all. He really does.
Alex Smith had a pretty good performance.
He had a good performance, but I am worried. Yeah. I'm worried, Tom, because Alex Smith has only had 5 or 6 passing games over 300 yards.
Yeah, he's not too consistent. That's the iffy about
his average yards per throw are like 3 yards per throw. You don't like that in a quarterback.
Yeah.
If he does this 2 more times in the next 3 weeks, he's going to be a hot commodity to pick him up. But right now, I'd really, maybe if you need a quarterback, pick him up. But he's not a necessary pick up and start up. I think that was really a fluke performance.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you have Kareem Hunt, you probably drafted him or picked him up week 1 when Ware went out. Must start. Definitely right now. Yeah, it was a crazy week 1. All the top guys underperformed, all the under guys overperformed. So I would like to see what week 2 brings to us. That's going to be really interesting to see if these guys on the waiver wires can really step up and do what they need to do and get their job done. You agree, Tom?
Yes, I agree.
All right, so I'm Joe Marchese.
I'm Thomas Ogdenbean.
This has been the Fantasy Football Boys. Stay tuned. Make sure to subscribe. We'll be back from the next video, recapping the whole week for the Monday night games and everything like that, telling you who to start week 2, who to pick up again. We'll tell you everything, get up to current news and everything like that. Have a nice day, guys. Thank you. Fantasy Football Boys. Yeah.